everyone, my name's Allison Didier and this is my audience. Have you ever been frustrated that it feels like healthy food is always more expensive than junk food? Maybe you've run into a situation similar to this. You're at the grocery store just shopping for some vegetables for dinner and you run into a dilemma. Pay an arm and leg for the organic zucchini or go with the cheaper alternative, the non-organic zucchini, and wonder what you're putting into your body. Not to mention the dirty looks you might receive from your fellow shoppers at Sprouts. So I have a solution to this, and today I'm going to be showing you how to start your own vegetable garden at home. So gardening is a great hobby because not only is it fun and rewarding, it also provides many opportunities to grow your own organic produce at a cheaper price and know what's going into your body. So I've been gardening for many years now, and I've grown things all the way from pumpkins and squash for fall to lettuce and tomatoes for salad. So today I'm going to be showing you some of the produce that I've grown recently in my garden. So we have some cucumbers and jalapenos and tomatoes. So some of you may be thinking, well, I don't know that much about gardening, or maybe you live in an apartment or have a smaller space and you don't really have space for that. So I want to encourage you that gardening is easier than you think, and you can grow a pretty thriving garden even in a small space. So as we get into things, I want to start with this. So first, it's important to know your surroundings. So according to the USDA Agricultural Department, here in San Diego, we are in gardening zone 10B. I know that sounds fancy, but it's just a way of describing what kind of plants grow best in this climate and what time of year to plant. So that'll help you out in the future so you know what plants to buy. So whether you're planting in your yard or in your patio or balcony with container gardening, it's important to know what kind of space you're working with. So as we get into it, I'm going to start out with something called the direct planting method. So with the direct planting method, you're going to be planting in your yard. So this is when you're planting directly in the soil. So first of all, you're going to need a little plot of land, and you're going to want to clear this of any weeds or plants that are in your way. And once you've done this, I would recommend that you add a few bags of gardening soil. You can get this at Home Depot, or I even get it at Walmart sometimes. And you're going to use a rake or shovel and incorporate that into the original soil. And so once you've done this and your ground is ready and the nutrients are there for your plants, it's time to go to the store and buy your seeds or your plants. So I think this is a really fun part. So you have the option of either buying seeds or seedlings, which are baby immature plants. So there's some pros and cons for both. So for seeds, you have a bit of a longer growing period. And although there's a longer growing period, there's a lot of benefits to it too, because it's a bit more cost efficient. And I think it's actually really fun to be able to watch a little tiny seed grow into a big plant and then get vegetables from that. And then on the other hand, you can buy baby plants, which kind of speed up that growing process. If you just want to get into it, then maybe that's a great alternative for you. So as we carry on, I wanted to talk about or address for some of you that may have maybe not as much space at home, something called container gardening. So according to the article, Urban Gardening, container gardens work well in urban areas where space is limited to a balcony, patio, or terrace. So this is great for some of you that may live in an apartment or just don't have as much space. And so as we get into this, of course, we're going to need containers. So you can use some containers from home, maybe if you're on a budget. So if you could use like old trash cans or buckets or whatever you have if you're on a budget. And if you're looking for something a little more fancy, you can go to your local home improvement store and get like a fancy gardening bed or pots. And so after you have that, it's important that you have drainage. So sometimes pots will have drainage included with it, but if you don't have that, then you're going to need to add it. So you can do this using a drill or a screwdriver or hammer. And so once you have your drainage, you need to put your soil in. So I recommend that you get potting soil. So instead of gardening soil, you're going to need potting soil, and it should say that on the bag. And so once you have your soil, it's time to plant. So you're going to use the same method as before, and you're going to just plant your plants directly in, or if you have seeds, make sure that you're following the correct spacing. It should say on the back of the package how far to space them. You don't want to crowd them. And so once they're planted, you're going to want to cover it with soil. So plant it to the right depth and then cover it with soil in any empty spaces. And then once you do this, you're going to water it originally, and then you're going to continue to water it on a regular basis. So when thinking about what kind of containers to buy, it's important to think about what kind of vegetables you're planting. So if you're planting something like carrots that have long roots, you're going to need a container with a bigger root depth. And if you're planting something like lettuce with more shallow roots, you're going to want something with a little bit more surface area. So, according to the Better Homes and Gardens, plants that grow tall or produce vines will be more productive if grown with support in the container. So you can get this at the gardening store. You can get like a trellis, or you can use sticks and twine from home to support that plant as it grows. So I know this is a lot of information at once, so I wanted to sum it up for you. So here in San Diego, we are in Gardening Zone 10B, and that's important to know because it helps you know what kind of plants to plant according to the time of year and location. And then, like with all plants, you're going to want to make sure that you're getting the adequate amount of sunlight and water, obviously. It's easy. And then in conclusion, gardening has been such a fun hobby for me. I've learned so much about where my food comes from and the process and life cycle of a plant, and I hope you can learn from it too. Thank you for watching.